You can't think that this can ever happen. It just can't. And here's the evidence of it, and it is, we're still alive.
Well, you're so full of adrenaline, that it's actually quite surreal.
It was a terrible night.
I'm not sleeping in night because I'm losing many things.
I lose everything.
We lost, I think, up to 400 and something homes. It's been the most devastating thing ever to happen in Knysna.
We believe the fire came up here at a pace of 80 kilometers an hour. It was devastating. Our lives will have to start all over again.
The next moment, the flames was from the top downwards. So the wind was in a southwesterly direction. It was really a storm, gale force winds. And and the fire came from that side against the wind, and once it passed my house, I thought, okay, now I'm safe. And the next moment, the fire was coming from that side in the direction of the wind, and it just swept away everything in front of it. It was minutes from down the hill till it reached here. And once this house, well, it was a house, a wooden house, caught fire. It was when it caught fire, in 15 minutes it was like it is there now, nothing.
We sat here and we watched, the skies turning orange, and sort of saw it coming closer. My wife and took the children away, and then the realization, I guess, dawned on us that we might in fact be in the path. So we started getting a few things out of the house, bits of the sentimentals and valuables and that sort of thing. And I think we finally left here at about 11 p.m. when we knew at that point it was imminent. By the time we got up to the top of the road, the whole bottom of the property was just exploding in flames.
We saw the fire in that mountain there. So I said, the fire is too far, see? So we didn't know the fire is like is walk with air. And down there we will see, and then that on mountain. No, we see the fire down there. Whew. No more to take everything, so we down running, my children just run away. We didn't take everything.
I've never seen a fire like that. It was my first time seeing it. I thought that we were going to die. There was no way out because there were flames everywhere. It looked like shooting stars because it would burn a house here, but the house next door wouldn't burn, and then it would jump to another house. It was terrible.
It was a lot of wind, and that night, and then you see everybody was running around, and then there's no one taking anything out of a house except the clothes. Maybe you take 2 jackets, or maybe the clothes that were in the basket. Otherwise, everybody lose everything.
It was a terrible night. It was so very windy. The houses, like you see, the houses just fall down.
The fires started in the Karatra area, and they just, because of the gale force winds, they just went completely out of control. And unfortunately, we weren't prepared for that kind of devastation on that scale, and we lost, I think, up to 400 and something homes, and areas were evacuated, and luckily not too many lives were lost. It's been the most devastating thing ever to happen in Knysna.
We were at work and the smoke was getting worse and worse, and Glenda said to me, she said, Ian, we need to go home and look at the house and see what's happening. We got home, smoke everywhere. Glenda packed a little case for each of us. My Malawian guy that lives with me and his wife, his name is Duncan, he's like my right-hand man. I said to him, Duncan, pack some stuff. I took a picture out the window to have my last view. You could actually see the fire down in the forest already. We hitched up the cars and we left. We tried to come back within 5 minutes later separately to look for our cat. I couldn't get within a kilometre of this house 5 minutes later. We believe the fire came up here at a pace of 80 kilometres an hour. It was devastating.
Well, I wasn't here. I had 2 teenagers looking after my house, and it was in a matter of half an hour. And I heard that they had to evacuate. They saved my 2 dogs and my cat in the nick of time. And I think that is the most important thing, that they're safe. We are all safe. This is material stuff.
There was a time that I feel that I've lost it. So I ran to the back of my house and I thought, well, if my house caught fire now, I'm gone. And I thought, then it must be. It must be.
Yes, I'm working at Phantom Forest. Also, the place where I work, it's burned down as well. Because we used to have a beautiful lodge there, but now there's nothing there. We don't know even if what we're gonna do, because that was the place that we used to work. Now there, it's only what you can see. There is only the ashes, which is we don't know how many months we're going to have to wait, because we don't think that we're gonna get people to come to our hotel, because now it's on ashes as well.
Well, I tried to come back during the evening. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I made an attempt to come back here, but the flames were still roaring in the property. And then I think eventually we went home and we got a little bit of sleep from 5 till 6 or something. And then I came back at about 7:30, 8 o'clock when we could finally get onto the place. And yeah, I was actually quite astounded. Like if you look around the garden, there's areas that don't even look like they've been touched. And yet, when you look at the house, I think it's quite selective on how the fire chooses what to burn. I think what happened here is maybe just a big fireball or something has come and landed. There was a wooden veranda here. I think it's probably landed on there and you know, just flamed up and taken out the house. But we've been lucky here. We've got a log cabin that's down there in the trees. I don't know how that survived. It's still standing. The workshop's still standing. We lost a cottage on the front of the property, a little shed here. But you know, there's a lot of people that lost a lot more than us. So I'm actually feeling reasonably fortunate.
I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. That's why I'm saying I'm also scared now, as if something happened like yesterday.
Yeah. I see the nightmares because every time, even if the car is passing my house at night, I wake up and I go outside and check. Even if I smell maybe someone is passing my house, maybe smoking a cigarette, I still feel like it's fire is coming. And then I wake up, I go outside and check if I'm still safe.
We were still helping people that stayed down to get their things out of the house that was useful, but we couldn't get everything out because some people took their clothes out but the house didn't burn and the clothes burned on the streets. So we were helping them taking things out, and we were helping children going up, and another grandmother that couldn't walk, we were also helping her to get up. So because her house also burned down and she didn't get nothing out.
It's amazing how a natural disaster like this would galvanizes the community spirit. You know, people have been amazing here. You know, everything has been organized for us. Another house to live in, clothes for the kids. You know, we really within hours of getting out of here, everything was taken care of. You know, so. I think that says a lot for South Africans and for the spirit that lies deep in the community, you know, especially when everyone's out there fighting fires all night, 2 days in a row. There's still time for everyone to look after each other, which is amazing.
No, I'm feeling right because other things is coming now for like blankets, clothes is coming now. No, I'm feeling right now, but I'm not feeling right at the house because I'm sleeping no good there, see? That's why I'm not feeling right. But everything, food, I'm finding food, clothes, I'm finding blankets, I'm finding. So now it's good to me.
The way the community of South Africa has come together to help everyone, and the friends in the town. We've got fantastic people.
We're thankful about people around the world that they're sending some stuff like blankets, like some food, because we go to the community halls, we get something also there.
This is the St. George's Anglican Church in Knysna. The hall is being used by Lions to coordinate the distribution of food and food parcels and blankets and clothing. It started yesterday when hundreds of people arrived and continued this morning from about 7 o'clock. We don't see an end to it, we just carry on and help where we can. I would say the wheels of support and the networks got going very soon after that. The magnitude of it is quite overwhelming, but we've got to eat this elephant a bite at a time.
Well, I was in Pretoria, busy with an Attractions Africa conference, where my phone just started beeping the whole time. And in the middle of my speech, I would stop and look, and I'm like, oh, my hat. So I quickly rushed back to Johannesburg, where I'm staying with a friend. I'm saying, can I borrow your trailer? I'm going to get a car, and I can't get a flight down because the wind's blowing, and the airport's saying there's no flights available, so I have to get home. And I've got a lot of other friends in Johannesburg phoning me saying, Chris, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, but we're going to need help. This is a problem. I've just been told that we need to evacuate our houses, we need blankets, we need water, we need emergency stuff. The guys just mind dropping it off at my friends at Knysna's house. I'm going to get a truck and like a van and a trailer, I'll drive it down myself. So it takes about an hour to organize, and I arrive at Knysna's house and his driveway is full. And he says to me, yeah, the trailer's not big enough. We need more. So then my one friend phones me and says, listen, I see you driving down with your van, I've got a truck. Says, can you speak to the driver? So I rush off to speak to the driver. While I'm speaking to him, the airport phones and says, we've got you on a flight, we can get you down to Knysna. So I literally say to the driver, here's the address, go find this guy, and I leave. And I go back to the airport, I jump on the plane, and I land, and there's a message from Knysna saying, I need another truck. So then GT Services phone, they say, we have a 10-ton truck for you. So they fill that up. And while the truck leaves, they say, well, send us more trucks. And it just got to the stage where this bunch of private individuals at Randburg Men's Baseball Club has raised 65 tons worth of aid. So we went from, we can take a bakkie and a trailer to we now have an interlink that's arriving. And the next moment, the guys from SEMI phone, they say, well, we've got planes. We can start flying stuff down for you. What do you need? And the one guy said, well, a generator would be great. And the lady phones and says, please go to the following shop. I've just bought you 8 generators. And I'm getting all teary. A guy comes in, buys 50 blankets, 50 mattresses for people he doesn't know. So I'm sending it. So people are just sending stuff saying, what can we do to help? And that's amazing. That is the best part about Knysna and about South Africa. Is people are 65 tons. We're talking millions and millions of rands of aid where people go and they open their doors and say, what do you want? What can we do to help you?
Look, I think, you know, there's been discussions already about how we replant, you know, planting with indigenous varieties that act as natural fire breaks rather than letting some of these alien species. I mean, the pines, they go up very quickly, you know, so we've lost a lot, where there's dead pines and bits and pieces left over, we'll take that out and make sure that the replanting is done wisely. I think you always need to make sure that you've got a natural fire break around the house, and yeah, I'm sure there's certainly lessons. But yeah, as I say, it's sort of one day at a time at the moment, so we'll see how we go.
Going forward is the mop-up process. So the municipality has established working groups. One will deal with the technical issues of re-establishing our internal infrastructure, because as you know, the fire has destroyed a lot of our infrastructure. We have to look at assistance to the people, make sure we've got them on the databases, make sure that we marry the people displaced to the physical destroyed structure, so that we can then identify what actually is needed from the individuals that have sadly lost their places, and then marry that to the people that are working with all the donations that are coming in, so that we can streamline it now. It has been, I use the word loosely, it's been chaos. It has not really been chaos. It's been, we had to save lives, we had to try and stop the fire. So all of our efforts were focused on that. And now that the fire is today no longer only contained, it's actually under control, we can now look at moving forward.
We've lost over 400 structures, and the majority of the structures were residences, was people's homes. Yes, we have lost some accommodation establishments, 1 or 2 critical business has gone, but luckily the majority of them were insured. How do we keep the businessman that lost his house, that has a restaurant? Now we need to give him a place to stay while he keeps his restaurant running, because if he closes his restaurant, that's another 24 people who lose their jobs. So it's going to be a very tricky problem to solve, and I think the only way to solve it is for Knysna residents to do what the rest of South Africa did. Care.
Knysna wants to send out a message to the rest of the country that we need you to help us recover from this disaster. Our backbone, our lifeblood is tourism. That's how Knysna, that's the biggest industry in Knysna. So if tourists don't come to Knysna, we're going to lose more than we've already lost. So everything is still operational. Knysna is open for business. We have not lost any of our big tourist attractions. Featherbed was burned, but the Featherbed company's ferries are still operating on the lagoon. All their restaurants are open. All the water activities are still happening. The golf courses were not affected. You can see the waterfront is still very much there with all the restaurants open. There's still a wonderful vibe. We still have the best weather in the country. So we are really ready to accommodate tourists again. And that is the way we are going to rise above this terrible devastation, and we need support from tourists.
Unfortunately, we had to go through this so that other people could learn. And as we are speaking right now, there are several working groups sitting together, getting data together so that this does not happen again. The fire chiefs, both our fire chief and the fire chief that was brought in, said it didn't matter what we had done before. This was something that was never ever going to, you could not predict it. It was the worst fire that both of them had ever had to see. So all I can say to everyone out there, don't think it's not going to happen to you. Start now putting your things in place. We're very blessed that we got people from all over the country to come and assist, firefighters to come and assist.
Our lives will have to start all over again. I don't want to build here. I had such good memories, and I could never recreate a 100-year-old forest. I'm 66 now. I don't believe it works that fast. I just don't know how we're going to get through all of this now, but we need to.
I think if we stay positive and hopeful and grateful for what we've got, that's the most important thing. I've got amazing friends. I think we all have a lot of support, and if we can just keep focusing on that and listen to the birds and realize that there's life around us and that we're strong, we're going to rebuild, and we're going to make this a better place than what it was. I believe that with my whole heart.